Hola amigos! Welcome to Singing Señorita, where I share lesson plans, organization tips, and teaching tips that I've learned after 23 years of teaching. So today's video is going to be about lesson ideas for before and after spring break. You know our children are getting antsy, they want to be out of school, so what can we do to keep their attention? So I've got some project ideas, I've got some different fun coloring type of ideas, I've got some games that you can play to keep their energy focused, and also just some fun activities that you might want to incorporate into your lesson plans that you already have. So if that sounds good to you, just stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like getting these ideas for your Spanish classroom. So let's get into the first project. This one was fun to make. And so this one is my travel project that is good for beginning students. So what the kids get is they get a template to make their little suitcase because they're going traveling, which is perfect before spring break because a lot of people travel on spring break. So the kids will design their own suitcase in their own way. Then the way I have the project set up is they're going to have 4 different countries that they have to pick. They get to pick from the different stamps that like would be for their passport, but we're going to put it on their suitcase, like old school suitcases. And so they pick their 4 countries, they color the stamp, and they put it on the suitcase that they made. So then what students are going to do is a little bit of research about those countries. So I have a page where they have to tell me the name of the country. They have to tell me the capital of that country that they chose, the name of the money, because they're going to be traveling there, so they need the money and they need to exchange, and then what continent is that on? So they learn a little geography, and then out of the entire map of Spanish-speaking countries, they're going to color the 4 that they are planning to go to. So they're not having to learn everything on the map, they're learning those specific 4 countries. And then what they're going to do is they're going to look up the weather for those countries. That got stuck on my hair. Where they're going to travel. Now I have 2 different templates because in my original design they're looking for 4 different countries. So I also have a template where they have 4 different ones so they can look up the weather in that country for the days. And this is a really what the weather's going to be like. And then I put mine in Celsius, but they can also look it up in Fahrenheit, but most countries are in Celsius. But the reason why I came up with this is a true life experience in my own life. I have been traveling to other countries, but mostly Mexico, Central America. And I decided one summer to go to Bolivia and didn't look up the weather where I was going, and I packed my bags. I am from Houston, Texas, so I'm wearing capris and a light shirt. I get off the plane and it took my breath away. So this is a very practical part of this. If you're going to travel to another country, know what the weather's going to be like. So once they do that, then they're going to pick out the clothes because we want to pack according to the weather. So what I put in here, I put all kinds of clothes, and it has the names of the clothes in Spanish. So 2 pages of clothes and shoes. And once they figured out what the weather is, then they cut out the outfits that they want to wear. So my first day was a rainy day. So I'm going to wear my raincoat, my pants, and my rain boots. So they want to match that. And again, I have the template set up. If you do 4 weather days here, you can do 4 of the different outfits. So it's your choice which one you do. Then what they're going to do is look up the different tourist spots. So you can have them do it in 1 country, or I did mine in 3 different countries. This special, since I'm going to Guatemala, Spain, and to Peru. So I looked up some of the best tourist spots to go to. 2 of these I've actually been to. This one I have not, because I have not been to Spain yet. So we're dreaming here. So they're going to either, you can have them draw it, or you can have them print out a picture and put it on there, whichever is your preference, but they're telling the name and what country those are in. And again, I have the template for 4 if you don't want to do 3. So there's a lot of variety in this back. And then the last part of it, they write about what was the weather like, what country did they go to, what did they wear, and what spots did they go to. So it's just a fun way for kids to use their imagination and their creativity and do a little bit of research about other countries to spark their interest. It's not like a full-on research. It's just little things that they can learn in bite-sized chunks. Now, if you have students that have just learned about the preterite, I have another travel project. This one is for older students and a little bit more intermediate students. So it's another type of travel project, but this one I did to help students to really plan. What is it like when you're planning to go to another country? So they're buying tickets. You'll give them a certain budget, whatever you plan, or you can just let them spend whatever they want so they find out how much it costs to go to another country. That is totally up to you. So what I have is they have to pick one country. They can either work alone or with a partner. They have to tell me the dates of their trip, and they have to actually look up tickets and tell me their flight number, the name of the airline that they took, what's the hour that they're leaving, all kinds of things. And then they have to plan out how they're getting from the airport to the hotel. They had to find a hotel and book a room. What kind of room are they going to get? Are they sharing with somebody that they're going with? Are they having it by themselves? And then how are they going to get from the airport to the tourist sites? So they had to pick out tourist sites in that country that they're going to go to, figure out how to get there. They had to plan their meals out. What restaurants are they going to? What are they going to eat? And so then in the predator, we're asking them all kinds of questions. ¿A dónde fuiste? ¿Cuándo fuiste? ¿Cuál fue tu línea aérea? So all of these questions about what they did. And then that is going to lead their presentation. So my students, for the most part, they chose to do a presentation on a PowerPoint, and I'll stick a little example of the template that I put with this resource because most of the students chose it. So I just did a little template that they can run off of to save them a little bit of time and to keep them on track of what I wanted. So the questions guide what they're going to say in their presentation, and then they'll have the PowerPoint to show. And because we want our students listening to learn about other countries, because not only will students be learning about the place they went to, they're listening to presentations. So I also included in that where they're listening, they tell me the country, and after they listen to the presentation, they tell their favorite part of the presentation. So we keep it positive. We're not asking them to critique. There's just, what was your favorite part? What did you learn? Okay, and then you also have in there a rubric with the times that each part is due. So that is for more advanced students. The year that my favorite year that I did that, I did it several years, but the students, they did the most amazing presentations. They took little pictures and took their head and put it on somebody else's picture for going to different spots. And it was really entertaining to see what the kids would do. So those are two travel projects that are kind of themed with spring break and going somewhere where your kids get to use their imagination and get to use their creativity. Also, if you want to do a little bit of research, but nothing super intense, I have my country series. So these are different drawings of 20 different Spanish-speaking countries. It gives the name of the country and just the flag, the shape of the country, and just things that are important about that country or fun about that country. And just for a little bit of research, students just tell the name of their country, and then they give 1, 2, 3 important things about it. And then also they have to look up the colors of the flag so they could color it right. And then also what the population of that country is. Just easy. You can have them pick their country, or you can tell them which ones to pick, but it's just a fun activity for them, again, to be creative and to keep them focused while they're still learning. Now, other projects that they might want to do, and here's one I'm doing after we get back from spring break. Let me grab it over here. My students are learning about places around the community. So what I have them doing is creating a map. Now, I do this in groups, and it's a very large map. I mean, it's the size of 4 desks put together, and they work together on it. So what I've got in that is a list of the vocabulary and the things that must be on the map. And then here's a rubric at the bottom, and then what the total is. So I give this out to kids so they know exactly what they're looking for. It needs to have the picture and the label, and I grade that they have both of those. And so you can have, I set these up 2 different ways. So I do the big map, so you can provide the pictures for them. But honestly, I don't do that because I love to see my students' creativity. I want them to come up with their own pictures of it, and that is absolutely fun. But I provided it for you just in case your students don't want to be as creative. Mine, I generally find that they are. So you can also choose to do a smaller version of it. So you could just do it on a sheet of paper if you don't have the big pieces of paper. So I also provided a very tiny set of the same pictures that they can use of the different vocabulary words. So I have my students do that in groups, and also to help reinforce the vocabulary, I give one of these to each one of the students. I number my maps. So I hang them up around the room, every single one of them, and I will put one of these numbers up in the corner. And then I give these to students, and each student is responsible to go to whatever number that they receive, and they have to go through the checklist and find all of the different things that they put in there. And then they get graded on that. And what that also does is it helps me because multiple people will check the same one. So I look at them. If I see the majority of things are the same, all I have to do to grade the map is look at the ones that they did not check and make sure, are they there or are they not? So it cuts down on my grading time, and it also reinforces what they're learning. So my students enjoy that. Like, I had a student that came in with another student that I had last year. Actually have the other student that was with them this year, and they're like, when are we going to do that map thing that y'all were doing when I came in? So it is fun for them to do. They're super creative with it. And then also, this is another thing that I've done that I've absolutely love the results of with my students is my tracing pack. So whatever I'm on at the time, I have them create little characters. You have the different faces, you get to put the different parts of the body, and then you make your own character. So there's different hair. Sorry, I'm not showing this very well. And then they get the different body parts. That is not part of it. Different body parts. So whoever they want their person to be, there it is. And so what it ends up being is a character that you choose what you want them to do with it. So if you're learning adjectives, you might have them describe their characters. If you're learning about sports, you might have them draw a background, put their character on it. So we have the golf course for my little golf player, and then they have to do a writing about whatever it is. So you can customize these to whatever you're teaching at the moment. Now, those are the different projects you could do. Also, there are some games, like I'm planning on my Spanish 1 students right before we leave for spring break. I know my kids' energy is like through the roof some days, and then some days I have quite a few students gone because they left early for the trips. So one of the things I like to do is play games. So here's one of the games, gotta reach for it real quick, is a game of spoons. This is one of my favorite games to play because it is highly competitive. So what I've done is my Spanish 2 students are learning irregular preterite. So I made up a game with the irregular preterite. So what they have to do and why I like spoons is because they actually have to know what the verbs mean. But they get the pronoun, they have to match the verb in the correct form, and then what it means. And if you've never played spoons before, it is wild. But as soon as they get a match, they get to grab the spoon, and then it's a free-for-all who gets the other spoons. I'll attach my video of how we played it in class in the description. Okay, and then another game that I love to play is what I call para en seis. So I have these. It has the pronouns at the top, the verbs on the side, and then what students have to do is they have one pencil in the middle of their group, and they have one die. And they each take turns rolling it. Whoever gets the 6, because I call it para en seis, stop on 6, grabs that pencil and begins to furiously conjugate the verbs while the other 3 students are rolling to see who gets the 6. Whoever gets the 6 next snatches the pencil and they begin to write on theirs. The objective is to get to the end before anybody else. And then I check it and make sure they're actually right before they get their prize. And then as the final thing, I have been doing a lot of color by conjugation for St. Patrick's Day. Even though we're going to actually be on spring break, I love doing these. So wait a moment while I grab them. So these are my different color by conjugation. It's just another way for them to practice their verb conjugations. So my latest one is the irregular preterite. So what they have to do is look at the pronouns, they match the conjugations that are in the picture, and then they color it. So this is what this one turned out like. It's one of my favorite ones. It's the prettiest one. But I have tons of different ones for different levels. I have ir, dar, and estar. I have tener. We have ser. And we have ir, the preterite. We have the imperfect. So there's just a ton of different ones, no matter what level of Spanish you teach. And I decided, because some people might want to try it, they don't know for sure if they want to buy it. I have made a free one on the verb ir. This is what it ends up looking like. So I'm going to put that link in the description. And this is one of the things I like to do. You'd be surprised how relaxed kids get when they get to color. A lot of times if I have a chapter test, I will have these available. Actually, right now, I have them available all of the time, because in our district, they are no longer allowed to have their phones at any time during the class period from bell to bell. They have to be out of sight. So the kids are a little antsy sometimes. So I have made all of my color by conjugation available. So if they get antsy, they can just go grab one and color it. It's worth half a point of extra credit each one. So it's not a ton. But some students, it just helps them settle down. So I've offered one of those for free, and I'll put the link in the bio. And I hope this has given you some ideas that you can use in your classroom, either before or after spring break. I'm going to be using some of these before and some of them after, to ease back in after that week of they're just probably doing nothing, knowing them, or being on vacation. So I hope these ideas have helped you. If you've liked this video, don't forget that you can like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Adios. Happy teaching.